All right, let's go to Eric Schmidt here, who was giving a presentation and said AI is underhyped. Let's take a listen.
I'm here to tell you that I honestly believe that the AI revolution is underhyped. And here's why. The arrival of this new intelligence will profoundly change our country and the world in ways we cannot fully understand. Many people think that the demand of energy part that our industry takes will go from 3% to 99% of total generation. One of the estimates that I think is most likely is that data centers will require an additional 29 gigawatts of power by 2027 and 67 more gigawatts by 2030. Gives you a sense of the scale that we're talking. These things are industrial at a scale I have never seen in my life.
So, first off, underhyped versus spot on. How do you guys feel about that? And then we should talk about the whole energy of it all. Dave.
One of my most cherished lifetime memories, actually, Peter, is you sitting down with Eric Schmidt. I think it was at A360, just a few years ago. You guys must have riffed for maybe 2 hours straight, just in armchairs side by side.
One night, yeah.
Oh my God. Eric is, not only is he absolutely brilliant, but he has access to all this information. So, when is he ever going to be wrong? When has he ever been wrong before? Of course, he's absolutely right. What's amazing to me about what Eric is saying there, he's on some kind of, congressional testimony or whatever. He's always pointing to the energy because he knows that's the one thing that'll get through everybody's thick head. but there's so many other more important and urgent, what about the fabs, Like we got to get these fabs up and running onshore like yesterday. That's the more urgent, bigger topic than just the raw energy. But he knows that they won't understand that. So when he has to say, hey, we need 29 gigawatts of new power, because at least everyone will be able to grok it and it'll make progress.
Yeah. Salim.
I don't have anything to add to this. I think those are two great insights. I think this will be a really great push for renewables and low cost energy in all sorts of ways, and I think it'll force us to expand our energy footprint.
I mean, at the same time, you've got the White House basically taking all the constraints off of coal and oil and natural gas and drilling. Because when I look, I mean, I kind of understand why in terms of AI, because when I look at how long it's going to take to get Gen 4 nuclear and fusion online, we're talking decades. It's like Amazon signed a contract with X Energy for a Gen 4, I think it was a Gen 4 plant. It's a fission plant. And I'm like, oh, is it going to be on, in the next 2 or 3 years, like 2040?
Yeah. So, but I think you have to remember the cost of fossil fuels is way high these days compared to solar, right? Yeah. So all this extra usage will be coming from renewables in some way. I go back to my example of the guy building a gigawatt wind farm in the outskirts of Kazakhstan because the wind howls down a particular valley in a ridiculously consistent basis, and they just plunk an AI data center there. So you can do that kind of leveraging of low cost, far away capability that you'd never get in normal.
Or to Iceland, right? You can put the data center anywhere you want.
Yeah, I think when I remember talking to Ramez about the energy stuff, he said we will never go back to oil and gas as fondly as people want because the cost curve is just too high. Can I just drill into that just a little bit?
You can drill into the oil and gas, yes.
In 2016, it became cheaper to create a solar generation facility than fossil fuels. And since then, almost all energy generation has been solar. In 2019, a more important inflection point was hit, which is it became cheaper to build and run a solar facility than to just run the oil and gas.
Yeah.
Right. So the OPEX and CAPEX of solar is now less than the OPEX of fossil fuels. So we don't need government policy. We don't need any of this stuff. The pure market will now drive it to just going fully down a renewables route. The problem is that the amount that we need is just so huge that we need to get much more quickly to the SMRs and other mechanisms.
Yeah, it's also we need to get rid of the delays due to regulations and permitting. I mean, this is what's going to slay us. Like, if we can make permitting like super fast, and this is where AI can support it.
But if I go back to my earlier point, right? if we put SMR in far off, distant, remote areas of the U.S. or Alaska or God knows where, you'll end up with a capability to generate energy. Because then you can just plunk an AI data center next to it,
Yeah.
and you're in great shape. So I think we'll see a ton of that. I don't think the regulatory is that much of a big deal right now. I think it's just the sheer amount that we need that we have to figure out.